We got, I mean, we can take Vostrum, probably, but there's a lot of defenders in there. Even with troops coming to us, we might have 1,000 once it's all said and done. That's pretty risky. I'd prefer Morania. Morania has a really good defense structure, and of course it's a castle, so it'd be a quicker take. But you know what? The start of a big siege here, one way or the other. Let's go ahead and say welcome back again to the episode of Tactical Enlightenment's Aserai campaign. We're focused on Bannerlord and tactics, and it's been a little while since we've done a little campaign status update. Those of you following the campaign, you probably want to know what's going on, right? We are, I think, 11 or 12 episodes in here, and we are at war with the Southern Empire. It's been an extended war. We actually have peace now with everybody else. We're just at war with the Southern Empire. I'm not sure how long the break is going to be between episodes. We did get peace with the XIII after we took back these castles up here. We got peace with the Valandians after we pushed them back a little bit. And fortunately, peace with the Northern Empire. That nonsense war is over. But Valandia is still very much a threat, right? They still have castles well into Aserai territory, and when I zoom back the map, they have by far the biggest kingdom. It really does look like a Valandia ascendant campaign so far, but we shall see what happens. Of course, we're not far from Wazu's retirement. If you guys are watching the channel, you know he's going to retire. He's going to go get fat and have a harem and look down upon his serfs in a castle and commit some tyranny. And the main product of that is going to be his children coming of age and hopefully starting the second phase of this campaign. So we do a few upgrades here, and I think we will siege Morania Castle. That makes more sense to me because we can do it quickly and we can get inside and defend it if it looks nasty, if the weather outside looks nasty, right? Partly cloudy with the chance of Southern Empire thunderstorms. Okay, so finally they took Melian Castle. It seems like the Aserai have been trying to take that castle for 6 months, even though it's a worthless castle in the middle of nowhere. Look at this shit. Go ahead and give it to somebody else. I have absolutely no interest. We abstain. We're not going to waste influence on that dog shit castle. They won't hold it. That's fucking dumb as dog shit. But the Aserai has been finally getting their shit together. They've got a couple armies rampaging, and we're going to help, right? We've called some companions. Wazu is now a full-fledged warlord, right? He has 260-something troops, and we've called to us 4 or 5 armies. We also, of course, have Ruwa and Wahan the Golden. And we're going to try to sort of blitz siege this castle here. There's only 140 defenders. We got, oh, that's a quest. I had a companion head out on one of those follow the caravan quests. I don't even remember who it was. The net effect of that, though, is they came back with troops. That's kind of nice. We'll be able to share these troops now with Wahan the Golden here, or Arwa. Arwa's full, so let's give them to Wahan the Golden. 26. He should have room for all these troops. And of course, since Wahan the Golden is both a digital pixel and the red-headed stepchild of our campaign, we're going to give him all recruits, and we're going to keep the elite troops with Gangster Wazu. I still don't have a good name. I appreciate some of the suggestions for Wazu. We're not too concerned about naming him. You guys know what I feel about titles on this planet. Wazu is a gangster. That's what he is. He's a medieval gangster. He goes into the hood and bitch slaps people, takes their money, takes their lunch money, and whoa, how many was that? That was the sure looked like Regea. She disappeared. She was there and then she disappeared. That makes me a little nervous. Hopefully this little army can sneak in. That'll give us 800. Well, we have 800. We welcome a fight, actually, even though all these little small armies, like little tiny yapping dogs, are probably going to join in the fray. Shit, there's another army behind her. Okay, so it looks a little perilous suddenly. Been a little while since we lost a battle. You never know. Now I could try to blitz this castle, but I actually want this battle for the campaign. If you don't know, there's sort of an unfair dynamic where even if the enemy's right there, you can just besiege the castle and they can't do shit. We're just gonna let her come on in here. They're all swarming, of course, all these little yapping dogs.
I would know your name.
My name is Gangster Wazu, motherfucker. Zachinus, a horrible name with a terrible bowl haircut and a stupid looking helmet. It looks very phallic. Now Wazu is going to start leveling up two-handed skill. We're going to do a little headshot damage with the bow. I've been meaning to do an episode where I cover companion skills again. That will have to wait. We have an epic battle first. Now I want to show you this. This dropped Is that it? Legendary? Yeah, look at this thing dropped off of a very small battle. It's a nasty long sword. And like I said, we are going to start using a two-handed weapon. Wazu is not going to be elite two-handed warrior, but we're going to use it some, right? We're going to cut some guys down with it, and we'll see how it goes, right? He could easily get killed trying to use it. He's got like 15 or 25 skill. I'm searching for a piece of armor that also... Yeah, this. We need better armor on him. Even though his armor he's got on right there, he prefers it like a little kid. That's his favorite shirt. We need to arm him up here. We're outnumbered 2-1. We're facing 15 armies of Southern Empire. They've got pretty damn good troops too, so this is going to be a beast of a battle. We do not have 900 elite troops by any stretch. Although Wazu is becoming a gangster, right? He's got 300 medicine skill, like 280 steward, and what a perfect battlefield for us. I mean, you talk about made to order. There's water. I see rocks to protect our archers over here on the right. There's even more water. There's places to channel them, and honestly, it even looks like there might be a bit of a reverse slope decline right in front of us here. I think we're going to try a little bit of an unusual strategy here. This is not something I do very often. This is like pawn and rook sacrifice, right? Chess fans, I'm not sure exactly which strategy this would fall under, but there's a bunch of different strategies where it involves sacrificing of pieces, and that's what we're going to do here. I'm going to design essentially 2 weak divisions, put them out in front for the enemy to charge, envelop, attack, get all excited attacking, and then we're going to crush them with our elite troops, right? We're putting, look at this guy's fucking perks. Man, that's a Lake Rat Wrecker mercenary that's with us. We'll put him in charge of the skirmishers. Thank you very much. That's a hell of a perk list. So I want to make sure that the 6th has skirmishers. How come there's no skirmishers in there? That helps a little bit. I guess because I'm putting the 3rd division as higher tier, we don't get that many skirmishers. How come? Let's try shield only. No, we could try lower tier in there. Maybe I might try lower tier, because then the 1st division would be complete fodder. It would be like our worst 60-70 troops. And what we can do is we can put our 1st division infantry here, and then our 2nd cav kind of in a big long stretch here. And the idea with that is that you're trying to absorb the enemy cav charge. It's like, you know, it's like 130 linebackers, making sure your quarterback doesn't get sacked. And then you draw them into this water here, and then you assail them with your infantry divisions, archers, cavalry. We would hammer and anvil. Look at that. That's perfect, actually. So lower tiered there. Now those guys are clearly going to die. Don't tell those fellas, but they're here for the good of the cause, right? Those guys are definitely going to get destroyed. In fact, we will probably start this battle really interestingly. There may be a huge flush of allied deaths that if you were commanding and you didn't know what the plan was, you'd be really uncomfortable, because it would look like you're just being completely destroyed. And what's happening, of course, is we're using those guys to absorb the enemy's initial haymaker, and then we're going to pound them with our other troops, elite troops. I will put the 8th Cav Division and the 7th Corps. That's way too big. I want the horse archers to have a little bit of heavy cav, and what's nice about that is with the Aserai, they're basically horse archers. They just have javelins. We can stick some guys here with Wazu. Jaim the Prince, he's my shock troop leader. Typically the 3rd division, the 6th division, those are my shock and skirmisher divisions. But I have very few shock troops at this stage of the campaign. Eventually, I hope to have like 200 palace guards, you know, and whatnot. Probably not all palace guards, but 200 shock troops for more tactical opportunities, right? Shield and shock. We will definitely do what I call an envelopment kill box with almost purely infantry. It's pretty fucking savage. And obviously two-handed weapons, they're very tactically interesting because you have to protect them. But if you can get them in there, they'll be destructive. I think this makes more sense. We'll put the skirmishers in the front and then the archers behind them. There's skirmishers mixed with archers in the 6th. I actually like that because that means I can charge with those guys. The archers will keep shooting, and then of course the skirmishers fire javelins before they go bellowing. Now look at this. That's supposed to be a shock division, and they're just not very many. Again, it's a consequence of not having many shock troops. And what a perfect battleground for this. It's like a wet, either just rained or is raining. It kind of sounds like it's raining. I can just kind of hear rain kind of clinking down over the background, over the music in the background. What is this shit? There's like 3 guys charging up. Investigate this shit. It looks like 1 guy, actually. We have this beautiful reflective sunshine here. He's just standing there. Oh, you motherfucker. It's almost like he's bait. Look at that shit. He didn't die. 217. Let's not waste all our javelins. Sarandon. Maybe his wife just cheated on him. Got trained by the whole fucking linebacker corps. Whatever the case, that guy just, that was really strange. He just ran forward, stood there at the shield wall, ate 374 javelins. I counted them, fellas, by the way. And then he died. That was, man, that was strange. And of course, I held fire there because I was really concerned that my whole javelin division would empty all of their javelins on 1 guy. I mean, ironically, like in PvP, if it was 1 player versus 1 player, you might do that. You would try to bait the enemy into wasting their ammo. Well, we're doing a classic envelopment process here. I'm dragging the 8th around on them while they charge the horse archers. Right, they're charging archers that are going to run away, and now we'll drag in the 8th Corps behind them. These guys, okay, so here's these guys are crashing into our weak cav. We're going to lose a lot of troops here. I've got this infantry division in a square behind them, and look at the death span. That's what I thought might happen. These guys just got charged by cataphracts, elite cataphracts and whatnot, and they got carved up. But they're going to start getting shot, right? They didn't kill all those troops at once, and now they're going to start getting shot. They're going to start getting javelins in them, and those were our worst troops, right? I'm kind of willing to sacrifice those guys. Like, that's an acceptable loss. They're all swarmed around them. While they're swarmed around them, they're being shot. These archers are working, except for a handful of cav here. The game feels like it's on fast forward right now. I don't know if it feels fast to you guys. Maybe I need more coffee. Well, the 8th Corps is coming in now. These guys are flying in, and javelins are going all over the place. I think we can stick the 7th Horse Archer Division at the back here, and they can just act as a mobile archer unit for now. Eventually, we'll do more dynamic stuff. All right, so here comes their infantry. The skirmishers can be told to charge. The 1st Division's in a square pulled back here, so these other skirmishers can also be told to charge, and the 8th Corps can charge. Oh, man, I was going to go flying over that rock into the battlefield, but, you know, Tail World's physics. Oh, shit. So I do have to be careful. I'm in here wailing away with my axe. I don't know. We probably want to use our shield when we're in this kind of maelstrom. I mean, there's a fuck ton of troops here. We are using the battle size mod, so there's something like 1,800 troops, maybe 2,000 on the battlefield right now. It's absolutely a gigantic, epic battle. Well, and this is as advertised, right? We will send the 1st Division in now since they survived. Those are my troops. As advertised, right? You want epic battles? How's that? It's just absolute chaos and guys roaring and bellowing, and I think it looks good so far. I mean, remember, we're badly outnumbered here. We have to get 2 or 3 kills for every one of the enemy's kills, but our archers are beautifully positioned across the river there. We have infantry up here bellowing. I can actually put 1 infantry division back here in reserve and start to peel some of these units back. I want to use that slope, and that was a beautiful flush of green right there. The enemy does have some infantry here that we need to clean up. In fact, they have calves still. But that was a beautiful exchange there for us, right? We sacrificed our worst troops. They exactly like I was hoping. They took a pawn and a knight, and we got their queen, 2 bishops, and 2 rooks, right? We devastated them there. Let's get these guys pulled back. I don't see any enemy troops here. Let's get our divisions pulled back. This river is our friend here. This illustrates the advantage of defense, not just tactics, but being on defense here. The enemy has to come across this nasty fucking river. It's a double river, really, with archers in protected locations. And we have effectively a reverse slope decline as well. I mean, this is a nasty setup. It looks like the enemy's regrouping. Could stick horse archers up there. We could start to take stock of what just happened there. That was a gnarly, chaotic exchange. I still see death spam. How come I told this 8th Corps to get fucking back here? How come they are not coming back? Follow me. I don't know. There they come. The fucking disobedient children. You guys are going to be on a fucking timeout. You guys are grounded. Get your asses back here. They're getting killed. So this is our best cavalry. Fortunately, most of these guys came out all right. We're getting shot at here. The enemy has a huge long line of archers, and I don't see any support. I mean, do you guys see any support there? What I see is I see 300 archers, and the rest of their troops regrouping. You guys are fucking dead, man. Not sure what's going on there. This has already been a strange and chaotic big battle. For all the battles I've had in Bannerlord, this is a unique one. I've never had a battle like this. I don't know what's going on here. They have 400 or 300 archers just standing there. Well, we're going to get to the edge of this fucking terrain here and barrel over it and destroy them. The rest of their troops are like catching up around the corner. But they're hundreds of units away. I don't know. Maybe. Look at these guys. What are they doing? They're charging now. You guys are dead men. We've got 3 cav divisions, infantry coming up. We're going to have archers in position pretty soon. I really have no idea what's going on here. Their archers are starting to shoot now, but it's way too late. Right now we're going to have infantry ripping them. Cav is charging them. The rest of their troops are a long ways away from helping. So the enemy got caught with their pants down here. I'm not sure if this is bad AI. I mean, obviously we reacted pretty quickly to it, but this is really strange. We will take it. We might even take the offensive here. Their enemy, they are scrambling. They're trying to get troops up quickly to help these guys. They're going to come up in time to see them having their arms ripped off, right? And these guys are fucked. They've got, it looks like a couple hundred tops infantry here, and they're all broken up. I'm trying to get a feel for this axe. Obviously, it's very slow. I'm sure I'd be much better off just cutting guys down with my sword. You're dead. I love the WWF trash talking style. The guy's already dying, or when they get beheaded, you're dead. It's like, yeah, he's aware of that. Thanks. All right, we will take this this little pillar here and put archers up. Since the enemy is bringing up troops, we don't need our archers getting too far up front. But we're going to keep our fucking charge here with the infantry. These guys are plowing into their troops. Fuck their troops. All these crossbow, you guys are dead men. I don't know what they're doing. They really do look like they are randomly. They look like Roomba. You guys ever heard of the Roomba? It's the robot vacuum. That's what they look like they're doing. They're running in circles, and their archers really do look like they're charging. Maybe they're out of ammo. Otherwise, I just don't know what's going on. Well, we're going to go ahead and envelop these guys too. We've got a cav division here. The 8th Corps and the 3rd Corps, along with the 6th, can all attack the enemy from the side before the rest of their forces come up, right? So it's divide and conquer, only the enemy has decided to divide themselves, right? I mean, obviously a lot of this is us being ready to attack immediately, but man, the enemy was vulnerable here 2 or 3 times. All right, so the rest of the troops have now finally arrived, and it is about to get very bloody. These troops are not splitting. These guys are all together, and that's a lot of fucking Southern Empire troops. So we've got to continue to work here. This battle is by no means over yet. I mean, we don't have an elite army. We have a lot of tier 3, tier 2 troops. I'm working my battle axe here, see if it gets me killed. See, now I need my shield here. I'm getting fucking attacked, fucking shot at, fucking assholes. It'll be something I play with Wazu. He is not going to get to like 300 two-handed skill, but his son might. His son might be a savage two-handed weapon motherfucker. We shall see. Yeah, it's very vulnerable. It's super slow. I mean, I think I had like 20 or 28 skill or something at the beginning of this battle. He's got a really slow swing. I'm down to a quarter health. I have archer divisions splitting off to the enemy's flanks just to annihilate all the guys that are sort of bound up there. I like to do that to give my archers a better line of sight. And Wazu eats shit. I probably shouldn't have been fucking around, especially in a very significant battle. I probably should have saved the two-handed fucking around, leveling up at two-handed for, you know, like a castle assault. But all in all, I still like our position here. Archers are now spread out. A lot of their troops are clearly running. This guy was like running into me. What are you doing, dude? Oh, he's one of my guys again. I apologize. I don't have the bright beacon over the head of the troops here. Sometimes I just forget. The good thing, of course, is that all our troops are pretty much yellow or brown, and the enemies are all blue. Actually, you know how you can tell the enemy's troops? They're the ones that are running as fast as they can towards the edge of the map. I mean, I guess they could be rebuilding. We will reload here just in case they're coming back. A lot of our archers are now out of ammo as well. This has already been a long battle. But it looks like routing behavior to me. We shall see. 84 in the first. My divisions got all jacked up, of course, when Wazu ate shit. It's one of the things, if you're going to wield a two-handed axe, you must be highly knowledgeable of where you are in the battlefield and adept at dodging spears. Man, that sure looks like they are running for the exits. They're running diagonally away from us. And we, of course, have a beautiful defensive position here. This battle's over. We might even do a little blimp mode here and fly after them. I'm going to do this from time to time. I'm even going to do this from time to time at the end of battles. Not because I want to ruin the suspense, but because the battle is over. The enemy is flat on fleeing. I'm not quite sure why it's not saying, you know, the enemy is fleeing, you have won the battle. But tell me that's not routing, right? They are running as fast as they can off into the sunset. And we have won a very significant victory, the biggest victory of this campaign, right? This is, well, I guess we did have a battle against, what, 2,000, what was it, 2,000 Valandians? Something like that. That was Siege, though. Siege is different. This was a massive open field battle. They're forming lines. Well, this is one of those situations where as the content creator, I'm a little disappointed. They're doing like all these geometric shit with their lines. These guys are marching around in perfect fucking North Korean order. No idea what's going on here. You guys are the attackers. They're sitting back like we're supposed to attack them. I have never seen this before. Look at these guys. They really, nobody's moving. These guys are all playing defensive. They don't have any troops attacking us. We're hundreds of yards away. I guess we'll charge. Everybody charge. Unfortunately, you know, this, to me, this sort of steals the glory at the end of the battle here, where we're like, victory, yeah! Instead, I've got to have all these guys run as fast as they can, evidently to fight the enemy. But I look up at the power bar, and we're now favored. Even with a modicum of tactics, this battle should be over. I really don't understand what's going on, though. They acted like they were going to rout. Then they ran to the very edge of the battlefield. Now they got their battle horns gone. That means they want to fight. And yet they're infantry again, and it doesn't look like they want to fight. They're running. Now, these guys are all routing. I definitely recognize this behavior. You guys probably recognize that they're all disappearing at the edge of the map there. What a strange battle this was. Nevertheless, it's a glorious battle. I can't make these all amazing cinematic battles there, fellas. These are all raw and live, right? I'm just narrating as I play, and sometimes you get little weird snafus like that. Fortunately, Wazu didn't get killed. We do have the death for all mod, but look at 91 two-handed points, or two-hand skill points from that battle. That'll work. Gained 100 skill points. I should have put more points into this skill. He'd had like 150 or something like that. But we'll take it, right? This is a glorious victory for us at this stage of the campaign. We've shoved the shit in recently of the XIII, now the Southern Empire. We've given Valandia a couple beatdowns. What we got going on here? Look at this catastrophe. I can't fight, I can't participate, and I just have to hope that we win the auto-resolve. I would have been enraged. What are some words? I would be incandescent with rage. We take the rage. We're getting a captain. Come with us. I would be enraged if we lost this battle. That would be such bullshit. I have to auto-resolve, and then, you know, you lose. I'd be like, fuck no. Fight on the battlefield. That was almost like an exploit by the AI. Well, hey, let's cheat against this guy here, this tactical enlightenment motherfucker. I know how we can do it. We can manipulate it so that his character gets killed while he's trying to level up his two-handed skill. Then we'll get him in an auto-resolve, and we'll conquer the bitch and behead Wazu. Yeah, I definitely will save scum for shit like that. We have not yet saved scum for this campaign, with the exception of there was a couple cutscenes and a demonstration battle. And I don't plan on it for this campaign. I was a little nervous when we had two girls. Wazu had two girls, of course. Yeah, let's continue the siege here. There's a Southern Empire army there, but we just got troops from that battle. I was talking over it. You may not have noticed. They had a bunch of prisoners that we took. And just like before, I'm going to dump Wahan the Golden. He might be Wahan the Garbage Man. That might be his nickname, because I'm going to dump all my garbage on him on a regular basis. My wife is going to get elite troops. In particular, I'm going to give her cavalry, because she's going to be my guided missile companion. I will talk about stuff like that as well a little bit more. Maybe not right in the middle of a siege, and not right in the middle of talking about how I almost saved scum for the babies. I didn't really almost save scum, but what I mean is Wazu's first two kids with Arwa. These guys might attack. First two kids were females, and of course, I'm sort of creating a narrative, a story with this campaign. And the narrative is that Wazu has a son that, unlike him, is not lazy. He actually has ambition and other virtues, right? He's altruistic. He's honorable. He's all the things like a classic medieval knight would be. Kind of like Salah ad-Din, right? He's going to be a little bit like Saladin, if you prefer that name. I really don't. Salah-ud-Din, like Salah ad-Din. It's almost an H is stuck in there in I would say a decent Americanized pronunciation of the word. I think it's actually Salahuddini. There's like almost like a rhyming at the end, like D-I-N-I. But anyways, I'll leave that alone. Needless to say, though, all that rambling, the good news is Wazu eventually did have a boy. So we have a primary male for the what is it called? The protagonist for this story, right? The hero for this story. If you've never heard of those terms before, antagonist is the bad guy, and the protagonist is the good guy. Although we'll see. I reserve the right to become a total rapacious, aggravated tyrant with Wazu's kid, right? It's probably going to depend on the flow of the game. If my wife gets killed in battle, I assure you the kingdom that's involved in the killing of my wife is not going to feel like I'm the protagonist, right? I'm just speeding this along here because this castle siege shouldn't be materially interesting. But I wanted to finish that narrative point, and I may, as always, I may narrate over this later on. We shall see. It's kind of nice. I can use the RTS mod, and these rams just fly up here. The ram and the gate, and the siege tower. We're close to losing. I think we lost both siege towers. Not as a risk, right? We've talked about siege plenty on the channel. If you really want to have a successful siege, you want to destroy their fire catapults, right? We did not make any attempt to do that. I kind of thought we could just blitz them here. So now I'm waiting for the ram and hoping the ram doesn't get destroyed. It's difficult to destroy the ram, though, and it does look like it's going to make it. And then we're going to shove our way in here. But had Wazu had like two more girl children, I might have decided, you know what? You're fucking with my story here. The RNG would be fucking with my story. Theoretically, it would be what, 1 in 16 or 1 in 16 or 1 in 32 to have 4 girls. It'd be 1, 2, 4, 8, 16. It'd be 1 in 16. Oh shit! I almost ran in extra fast speed right into that exploding round. Wazu's been a little bit of a ragdoll crash test dummy so far. That's okay. It looks hilarious when he goes flying off a cliff with his horse. But I don't need to die here just kind of running around randomly. Alright, so let's talk about this way in. This is obviously one of the hardest ways to take a keep because you're just in a meat grinder, right? The enemy puts all of its troops right there. And if you guys recognize this castle layout, it's the same as Veron, it's the same as Gersegos. These guys are going to make me? Really? You're going to make me knock the door down. This episode is going this lovely. I feel like throwing my javelin in one of my troops' neck. I'm going to get killed here trying to take the door down. Sometimes you got to tell these guys to charge, but I did already. I don't know. Open this fucking door. This is aggravating, man. Charge! Get in here. Oh, here they finally come up. Maybe they heard about me throwing javelins into their neck. That changed their mind. Alright, so I'm going to blaze by on a horse here. What we're going to do in a situation like this, what you want to do is don't try to fight the gate. Your troops are going to just try to fight at the gate. If you can, do exactly what I'm doing. Position your troops past the units. And if they have some athleticism, if you have a nice mix and a large amount of troops, they will simply shove their way through like rabid Black Friday shoppers trying to get that microwave for $22 instead of $24. They will fight their way in, blow through the main gate, and then once you're in large enough numbers, the keep is yours, right? It's instantly easy to take. Oh shit, I did not mean to get off my horse. I'm gonna get fucking peasant beat down. Oh shit, I swear I'm not trying to suicide this episode. I'm just playing bad. I hear people screaming, this keep siege is ours. We're gonna take out our anger on some of these peasants, throw a sharp stick into their back as they run away here. But now this castle's ours as well. Of course, we still got to get voted in, right? There's always a chance that these fucks won't vote us for the castle, even though we did all the work for this castle. Sometimes they'll give it to some other knucklehead noble, and his interior decorator fucking rebuilds the walls in a horrible manner. All right, victory! Yeah. Sit up in my chair here. Retreated to the keep. You know, I usually skip these. Let's do this one. It's a little bit celebratory here. We're getting to a stage here where we're starting to claim territory, like historically speaking, for this campaign. These will be events that I do the first time and never again, right? We're gonna... I don't know. I still haven't decided whether or not I want to attack Vostrum or Danustica. I love Danustica, as a lot of people who are in this area of the map. It's a gorgeous, huge, well-designed city, beautifully designed city by Tailworlds. And it's also fairly defendable. I would say it's like a C+ or a B- for defense, right? It's not great. It's definitely not great. Like, there's way better cities. But it's a good city to defend. That's got to be the worst voice acting in the whole game. I'm coming for you! She sounds like a really angry, crazy ex-girlfriend that just is like her... Well, Wazu's being a bitch this episode. You know, I'm swinging this slow axe with no shield. But she sounds like a totally salty ex-girlfriend who cheated on you, and you're the one who you know, is responsible somehow. I'm coming for you! It's very bad voice acting. Pick up some prisoners here, but now Morania Castle is ours. And I highlight this castle. If you're in this area, either Southern Empire, this is that castle layout that is incredibly easy to defend. I think it was episode 3 or 4, we covered Gersegos Castle. Very similar. Very, very, very strong defensive profile. We could literally defend this against 1,500 with our 300 here. So, probably Danustica left. Our allies over here going crazy on Oneira. And we just destroyed like the majority of the Southern Empire forces, right? So we kind of have our pick of the litter here. I preferred the defensive profile. Vostrum is defendable as well. Realistically, I want both of these cities. But I think for the beauty and the story of it, I think the target is Danustica here. Maybe we'll do both. Maybe we'll take Vostrum after we take Danustica, right? We're starting to feel our oats here. Isn't that the saying? You sow your wild oats. There's all kinds of oats. I don't know, maybe you English fellas, you're always eating oats and shit. It's nothing but rain and clouds up there, so the only thing that grows is oats, right? You guys, what's the saying that Napoleon said? You guys get like, your weather is beautiful for 1 month of the year or something like that. And don't worry, I'm making fun of myself as well, because I live in the Pacific Northwest, where it also rains for 6-7 months of the year. So we have a very similar climate. In fact, Great Britain, I know there's different climates in Great Britain, but the majority of Great Britain, the climate is very similar to the state of Washington, the Pacific Northwest. All right, it looks like I didn't even notice it. They gave us Morania Castle there. Usually you get a notice and then a vote comes up, but I must have ignored the vote or whatever. I was absent. So Morania Castle is ours. And now, of course, we're hoping for the big prize here. Danustica, it's a rich city as well, right? Like, this is a big, gorgeous, rich city. This is the kind of thing that becomes the foundation of your campaign. Now, again, Wazu's going to go to sleep. But maybe he's going to go to sleep after he roams the streets of Danustica with multiple alcoholic beverages and a big bandolier on his chest, right? He's going to be drinking and whoring and philandering, and his wife is going to be shaking his head at him and obediently but disgruntledly bearing children for him. That was the way back then. The degree of the double standard was just on a horrendous, despicable level. You ladies today, I understand you still have many disadvantages in our society, but man, is it better than it was back then. I mean, there were some horrendous cases. Guys would have, what are they called? The ladies in waiting for the queen and stuff like that. There were instances where English kings, I think it was Charles II, in the 1680s or 1670s, his mistress was a ladies in waiting. So these are the gals that are dressing the queen. Oh, and I should tell you what I'm doing here. Let me finish that point. These gals were dressing the queen, and they are also fucking the king at the same time, right? So you have like these, imagine the tension there. You're like you're dressing this poor gal who you're just blatantly having an affair with, her husband. Anyways, the whole thing was a disaster for women back then. It was basically men ruled the world. and still kind of do today, right? The reality is that all you have to do is look at the amount of CEOs that are women or the amount of people in the United States Senate that are women, etc., etc. It's a man's world, to be sure. Now, we're making some improvements, though, right? At least slowly. Every 1,000 years, we give you guys a little bit more, better rights and stuff like that. I mean, it says a lot that the slaves were allowed to vote for 4 women in the United States. What does that tell you? Incidentally, of course, a black guy was president in the United States before a woman, right? So, as much as the United States is racist, you could easily argue that we're more sexist than racist as well. So I will focus more on these perks again at a later point. I just wanted to pump up his two-handed skill a little bit before this siege. I'm doing this siege right, and I should mention that part. You build 4 trebuchets as you're building them, or 3 trebuchets is sufficient. You put them in reserve, then you put them all out at the same time. You blow up the enemy siege. And I apologize if this feels like a mix between a tutorial and a campaign. I am trying to help players who've never played before or only played a little bit and didn't know this. Once you've blown up their fire catapults, it's game over, right? They can't stop your siege towers, and the siege becomes incredibly easier. I don't want to break the tension for you, but there's a 0.01% chance of us not taking the city. It's virtually assured. Okay. So I like to have, I know this city a little bit, I like to have the siege tower over here on the left. There's a little bit more room, and that's important, right? If we're trying to bring up hundreds of troops onto the walls to storm their castle, there is a good and a bad place sometimes to put your siege tower. And I only built one, so one side will have ladders and the other side will have siege towers. But it's not going to matter here, like I said, 0.01. We're lobbing in trebuchet rounds as well, pounding the troops. We still have the battle size mod working. It's worked really well. It's been highly stable for me, and I think you guys would probably agree, and I would love feedback. It's really smooth, right? I have 2,000 units on the field. We're running at 4K graphics, and it seems liquid fucking crystal clear and buttery smooth. But maybe you guys disagree. Let me know what you think about the performance of it. Let me know if you want me to use it less or more or whatever. I'm going to use it periodically in this campaign. These pathetic defenders have an absolute 0 chance of surviving. I mean, they're all holding up their little shield there. Well, they're about to get hit with the most savage javelin arrow barrage they've ever faced, because we're bringing up, 1,000 troops, and the javelins have started to fly. The crossbow bolts and arrows are starting to hit them. And the infantry's just now arriving. In fact, I have this 8th Division and the 1st Division are elite troops. Look at them all running forward. They're going to be firing literally hundreds of javelins are going to start flying. I mean, you talk about a fucking maelstrom. These poor bastards. So in Keep Defense, a lot of people just do the AI. It's fine, right? They'll take cover behind those little wooden fucking coverlet things. It looks more like a paintball cover, but, they're somewhat effective at dodging arrows or blocking arrows. I might have put too many guys over here. Let's take the 8th to the other side. I'm going to have my main thrust actually up the siege tower because we'll be able to get huge amounts of troops up it. So we'll bring the 8th Corps over here and I will join them. There's javelins just hitting the wall left and right. But I prefer to manually control my units, right? By this point, you guys can't tell. I'm a power freak, right? We're going to do shit our way or the highway. If you guys made me an emperor, like I had a guy say, you would be a great general or a great philosopher king, I was like, yeah, sure. I'd quickly become a tyrant, dude. Why? Because it's human nature. We know that the human being is a flawed individual that can't really cope very well with power, we all preach about being, humble and humility and all that shit, and then half the people out there that say that become total arrogant pricks. So no, I would be a tyrant too. It's just the human condition. No, get back here, boys. But obviously that's flattered, right? Anytime someone says you should be an emperor general, you're like, hey man, I appreciate that. And then I'm like, yes, you're right. Put me in power so I can have six concubines and fucking commit tragedies. Get the fuck out of my way. Stupid asshole. There's a recruit putting his ass right in the face of the gangster Wazu. I don't think so, recruit. Catch a javelin. So it's a maelstrom. I mean, you can see what happened there to the defenders. Every one of them looks like a piñata. They all have 9 fucking javelins in them. I'm gonna kick this guy right off the fucking keep. I wish I could kick him right off. It'd be nice if there was like a perk where you could power up their kicks so it kicked guys like 6 feet and you could just kick them off the fucking walls. That'd be epic. I would have that perk for sure. All right, so we're gonna level up our our two-handed skill here. I'm gonna risk death, and we're gonna fight this siege out here, right? I know you look at the power bar, and I already said the odds of us losing here are 0. We're gonna, for the sort of ceremonial part, right? This is the most vital early city take for us. And maybe I could have had less troops here and made it a little bit more dramatic, but I didn't know how difficult this was gonna be. So we will just come in here. Troops are trying to kill me with fucking ammunition. We will come in here and blast a hole, and I'm gonna definitely cut down my fair share of these pathetic fucking Southern Empire militia and teach these guys who's now in charge, right? We're gonna look at, they're all just standing there guarding there. You guys, and they can't catch me, right? I've got like 280 or something athleticism. None of these guys are catching me. They're all routing. But we're going to get our two-handed practice on. It's a really slow axe. Again, I don't know if I'm actually going to considerably use this two-handed weapon. But it's nice, right? We'll have some options. Wazu is getting excellent with his sword and shield, but it's always nice to have a destructive two-handed weapon, hence the shock troops, right? When you have shock troops in a battle as opposed to all shield and sword infantry, just so much more versatility as a commander. I got a bunch of mouth-breathing, knuckle-dragging, fucking bowl haircut militia trying to hold back this beast of a man. I don't think so. You guys aren't holding back this monstrous fucking ape of the sandy crotch, right? He's had way too many gang fights to be held back by a bunch of pathetic militia. Come get some. There's something primal too about swinging an axe as hard as you can at somebody, right? Like it's a very satisfying feeling, especially once you get good at it and your skill level gets up there and you're blowing up shields and you're beheading every third guy and it's just, you know, they're just getting crushed with axes. Let's see if we get killed in every battle in this episode. Fucking asshole Southerners. This is our citadel. Kicking guys in the back. There just came a huge flush of reinforcements. Let's get the 8th Corps in the courtyard. Let's get all these guys down there just to wipe out all these incoming reinforcements. In fact, a lot of them are archers. Wazu likes to chop archers with his axe. Somebody's like, Wazu, not stupid. Wazu is crazy like a fox. Wazu has got that street sense. 40 years working in a horrendous profession. He's, you know, street urchin, fluid, or what's the right word? Fluent, right? He definitely speaks street urchin, right? All these guys routing and shit like that. Like he's aware of these people, right? These poor militiamen. Wazu is definitely a man of the people, because he's been feeding these fucks drinks and endless fucking mugs for 40 years, right? And there's a grudge, hence the axe work. Like, pick up your own fucking mugs next time. All right, we're gonna run all the way to the doors. This is both half a tour, but also I'm trying to get a few more axe kills. Look at this city. If you've never wandered this city, if you've never wandered Bannerlord, right? If you've strictly done, I almost said quests. If you've strictly done quests, seek therapy immediately, right? You guys need to be doing the combat. That's what this game is really for. But this is a beautifully designed city. I would literally wander this city. If this was a free game, I would just wander the city. It's beautiful. Now, of course, the cities are kind of empty. It would be nice if you could go into buildings and like steal some dresses and shit for your mistress and do some sort of intrigue. I played the original Thief. It was called like the Dark something or other, where you crept around mansions and shit like that and stole their ghouls, stole their gems and shit like that. I don't know why the siege isn't ending, but I'll use this moment just to look over this gorgeous city. I mean, there's canals and bridges. It is fantastic. It looks huge too. A lot of the cities look kind of sort of pathetic and like they're really poor. This looks like a highly rich city full of highly successful businesses and whatnot. And I think just to cap it off, we've got one guy I think somewhere is stuck or whatever. We're gonna have to retreat. We're deprived of our glory of yelling at the end here. Not like it's that important, but we don't get to yell, yeah, we fucking crushed him. So we got to auto resolve this fucking one guy at the end here. Now the question is the vote, right? We're putting in all of our little requests to the AI RNG that we have a chance of getting Danustica, and it goes without saying that we will spend all of the influence that we can to vote for this city for us. Both for the role-playing element, and I also just want a beautiful city to sort of park Wazu, have his family sort of role play that we grow up. I'm picturing some interesting cutscenes, right, with this. We may have him go visit the local gangs, right, and maybe there'll be a little different situation. This is kind of poetic, right? We can put all these Northern Empire princesses and queens and shit, put them in their own dungeon, right? Enjoy the finer side of Danustica there, ladies. And now we wait, right? We wait for this vote and cross our fingers. We certainly earned it, right? We can dismiss some of these guys here. They can go out and defend the villages. Come on, come on. And beautiful. They want us to have it. So we can vote here ceremoniously just to have it. Unquid doesn't like that we're voting for it. Well, fuck you, Unquid. You got a lot more coming than that. In fact, that's kind of a perfect way to roleplay into the sleepy period. We can say Wazu was not favored by the Sultan and was angered because Wazu influenced other nobles to vote him Danustica. We'll say Unquid really wanted this city, and Wazu kind of stole it out from underneath him. So we'll say, we'll do a little role-playing like that. It's going to be fun to make a little story behind this. It's always good to have rivals and a little story in a campaign. You've got to role-play, I think, in Bannerlord. It really lends itself to role-playing, even if it's imagination like that. Of course, it'd be awesome if there's actual role-playing where Unquid took a grudge and was like trying to assassinate your wife and shit. But maybe we'll have to wait for Bannerlord 4 or 3 for something like that. Or these modders, right? These incredible modders. Now, Valandia is concerning, right? They're a long ways away, and you didn't see it, but they declared war. So we're back at war with Valandia, although they haven't done anything yet. That's disconcerting, right? Because they're a long ways away. We shall have to see what develops. But part of me for Wazu doesn't give a fuck, right? He's got 3 castles now and Danustica, and he's going to go to sleep soon, right? He's ready to retire. So I think we'll wrap this up. Of course, if you want to see more, you want to subscribe, please hit that like button, comment, criticize, all of that good stuff, fellas. You know what I always say. I appreciate you guys, and I will see you next time. Actually, no, we are going to talk about a little something more in this episode before I log off for the evening, so to speak. I want to cover towns and companions a little bit. Again, this is probably going to be 10, 12, 15 minutes of focused on our town. Now, we're going to be looking at things like prosperity, loyalty, food, security, the garrison, and then town projects. And I'll try to describe all these and kind of walk you guys through it. Now, you may or may not have noticed, I probably blazed through it, but we sold a bunch of grain to the city. The city peasants can then use that grain. They will eat that food. And with that food, obviously, comes happy peasants, but also increased prosperity. I like to think of prosperity actually as like population, maybe a 10x number. So if you have a prosperity of 4,000, I like to think of it as 40,000 people living in Danustica. One of the easiest ways to make prosperity go up is to feed the people, right? Put lots of food there. Suddenly people start moving in from the countryside, and you get more people. Now, it's not a vacuum, right? You're not pulling troops from anywhere else, so to speak, or pulling people from anywhere else. It's just part of the game. Now, the warehouse is something, I don't know if I'll go through it much this episode, but that's another feature of towns that you're going to want to manage. So look at food, right? You can see inside production, the prosperity, it costs food to feed all those people, right? And we will go over projects as well that affect food. Where's the orchards? Here, +6 bonus to food production. These little buildings and things that you can upgrade is within your control, and I will continue to cover that. Loyalty is probably the most critical thing when it comes to a town, especially a city in infidel territory, right? These are not, this is not an Aserai city, and so these people don't like us. You notice the -3 there. We will talk about that. Now, security also affects loyalty. Security you can basically think of as like crime. Notice my presence, right? There's a huge presence bonus for Wazu. As soon as I leave, security says -5. And that number's in parentheses. That means, of course, the future change of that security. So it goes down when Wazu is not here, and when Wazu is there, everybody trembles in fear. The militia is not something I'm going to cover a lot yet. You can basically see, though, there's constantly people retiring and then more troops coming from prosperity. Now, your town projects and all of your information can be accessed from this page in here. I know some of you guys know all this. I don't know every angle of this. And as you can see, I've already funded the construction component of it. That's a very important part of a town, right? You can actually see boost from reserves, +50. It's actually getting more points from the money for all these projects than anything else. Now, loyalty, as I've mentioned before, is the most vital thing with the town. If you are working on projects, if you're building an orchard or a fairground or whatever it is, you cannot use these daily defaults on the bottom. Now, what we want to build early on is a fairgrounds because of that loyalty bonus. I already told you, loyalty is one of the most critical things, especially when you have a city that is not Aserai culture, right? Your peasants are very like to revolt. So you notice the festival and games here. I gotta hold it over at +3 to settlement and loyalty. It's not going up, right? Our loyalty's not showing that. What the fuck is going on? It must be bugged. What it is that you can either do projects, you can either build projects, or you can do one of the daily defaults, right? You have to click that and then it goes away. And notice that icon now looks identical to the festival and games icon down below. But the idea with that is, you know, we got a bunch of bread and circuses. We quite literally dumped a bunch of grain on them, and now we're doing festivals and games, right? The people like it, even though you can see -3 from owner culture. So they don't like us. Eventually, once we raise the loyalty high enough, we can do fairgrounds, but there's a better way, and I will show you shortly. In other words, we need to increase the loyalty long term, but if we build the building, ironically, loyalty goes down while we're building the building. Now, notice the completion days there on the right. 19 days, it says we're 0% of the way in. That has to do with your construction, right? If you don't pay for construction, it builds much slower. I know this is a lot to take in. This might be a section that new players watch a couple, 3 times, but the most important thing that you need to understand is loyalty must stay above 25. Below 25, and there's a chance every day of a revolt. Now, Arwa is going to be the key, right? We are going to use her as the governess of our city, right? Of our Danustica here. She's going to be barefoot pregnant in the kitchen. Now, I apologize. That's just a bad old sexist joke. She's going to be getting foot massages in the queen's chair, governing brilliantly. Actually, she's not the best governor from a charm and social standpoint, but look at these perks. I forgot I need to change this. I actually am going to respec this. In fact, we'll do that right now. But she needs this top perk, right? There are 3 perks. I think there are 4 actually, but there are 3 perks that she's going to be able to get that will help her as a governess, increase the loyalty of the town. Now you go into the arena and you'd say, I'd like to change a skill for a member of the clan. And then this dipshit says, who? You say Arwa. And you devil, and then you go down to it's under control for bow. I want to focus on bow. It costs 6,000 measly gold. I guess this guy's just extorting money or somehow. And we punch him to remind him who's the boss here, and then we go out and we have to reassign these perks to Arwa. Again, we want that top perk on bow. It's the 6th one in, but we have to do the rest of them here, and I'll just briefly go through these. Headshot damage is good. A lot of these don't really matter that much, so I'm going to kind of blaze through this. Armor penetration is nice with bows. The movement speed while reloading is not that important to me. This one is, though. 25% reload speed with bows. You want that, right? You're killing guys faster. Accuracy penalty, decreased accuracy penalty for her while she's mounted. Well, eventually she'll be back on her horse, and notice this bottom one provides security. In the short term, we want security for the city more than militia. 8% damage with bow. I always choose this option here. And then the final one we're going to change. Before it was the lower of the 2. We're taking this one that adds loyalty every day to the governed settlement. That's very important. Now she also has... What's this one under? It's under athletics, I think. There it is. So she doesn't quite have the perk yet. It's 175 under athletics. She will gain another +1 daily loyalty to the governor's settlement, and she gets an endurance perk. So we're eager for her to get that athletics. And you notice her learning rate is really slow here. Well, she has 1 point. Let's increase it. And now her learning rate goes up dramatically, right? She will quickly reach 175 athletics, and with that comes even better sway for the populace, right? They're going to be even more loyal to this beautiful athletic wife of ours. She's basically going to be the hero. She's going to be the person that we take to cities that are close to rebelling, and she just woos them with her charisma. Now, where's the other one? It's under leadership somewhere. I think it's under leadership. There are three or four perks that increase loyalty that you can acquire for your companions. I apologize, I can't seem to find it right now. Again, I narrate these live, and so sometimes you got to deal with me stumbling around a little bit. What am I looking at here? Let me see my notes. It's under leadership. It says it's under leadership. Hold on. It says heroic leader. +1 daily loyalty in the governed settlement. So she already has it, but I wasn't able to find it there. I don't know why I couldn't see it. Oh, I think I might have been on Wazu. Let's go to Arwa. I apologize. Right. No, that's not it. It's got to be one of these. There it is. All right. So at 75 leadership, she gets, and she's got the perk active, +1 daily loyalty in the governed settlement. So she's very close to getting +3 as a governor. Now notice right now our loyalty's going down. That's bad, right? We're a few weeks away from having riots, from having a rebellion. As soon as we install our beautiful, intelligent, charismatic, charming wife, right? She's vivacious, and all the other acious, and suddenly, look at this, the loyalty, it is going down still because they don't like her because she's governor's culture is -1, right? She's an Aserai in blood or whatever, so they don't like that part, but the heroic leader and the discipline part are going up, and as soon as she gets, well, two things. As soon as we complete the fairgrounds, which will happen in 19 days, our loyalty will basically be flat, which prevents a rebellion. And of course, once she gets that +1 from this athletics, right? As soon as she gets that athletics, which is imminent, right? She might even get that just walking back and forth between her throne each day, right? Walking to her palace. Then loyalty will be taken care of. Now, security is important because a lot of negative security will badly affect your loyalty. So you got to do things like clear out hideouts, but here's the other way to do it. You have elite troops. Actually, let's go the other way. It'd be an easier way of showing you fellas. Higher level troops in the city sort of simulate these guys walking around fucking bitch slapping looters and stuff like that. This is your security force. This was the medieval security force, right? A bunch of armed troops with fucking master archers by their sides. Suddenly all the criminals scurry away into the back alleys and hide their face, right? They don't come out till night. So in the stash here, we're already preparing our kingdom, right? I've got liquid wealth in the form of a bunch of items there I can sell. He's got grain, and I've got meat and butter and cheese. Like I said, all of those things, what we can do is we can dump that on the city. I'm going to start collecting now grain and butter and cheese. We're going to start basically like a squirrel waiting for winter. Our winter here is going to be the stage where we declare ourselves a kingdom, and we want to make sure we have lots of food and grain and meat and cheese and shit like that. Let's see, what else can we show you? All right, so companions here. Let's do... how do I want to do this? Let me think. Hold on. So Wazu, of course, we're focused on his throwing. You guys already know his riding, athletics, and he has a modicum of offensive ability, but he's mainly a medicine and troop commander, right? We're focused on having a large army. Now his companions here, I am going to go through these guys and I'm going to explain them just a little bit here. We're continuing to level these guys up. Of course, this is one of our two-handed weapon guys who has javelins. I like to have shock troops that have javelins because they're basically all offense. And so you can stick these guys with your other Manavliatons and other two-handed weapon guys. They get all kinds of perks. They benefit from his athleticism, and they can throw some ranged weapons. Check the Alone. Of course, we've talked about that in the past. In fact, I made her one of these new parties. She is now I replaced Arwa with her so that Arwa can be the governor, right? So now this gal's in charge of an army. And by the way, that means her scouting skills are not going up right now, but fortunately some of her intelligence and steward and leadership skills will go up. And we're going to put just a little bit of points down here. In fact, we can put some points in medicine, maybe 1 or 2 points in all of these, just so that in a pinch, she's not a disastrous leader for a party. Now, we're mainly focused on her scouting, but a lot of these scouting perks are getting close to maxed out. In fact, I think you see where it says scout and party leader. I've mentioned this before. Obviously, she's not leading our party, so the only perks that actually affect us are the ones where it says scout. If it says party leader, it only affects her when she's leading a party like now. Now, most of the time, she's not going to be a party leader. She's going to be with us in our army, scouting for us, right? The proverbial hand up to shield her eyes from the sun, looking out and telling us where the enemy is. Now, she's on a horse, right? So we're going to continue to focus giving her horse combat skills with the bow, right? We want her, she's going to be under fire, so we'll reduce the damage she is taking. And the other thing we're going to do here is we're going to start powering up her two-handed, or actually it's her polearm skill, because she's going to be out there occasionally swinging her polearm at the enemy. She's kind of a horse archer character, almost like a XIII unit. Now notice these scouting skills, right? Party leader, party leader. Most of these affect only if she's the party leader, right? So one of these, I think it's the final one, is really beneficial for the group, but you have to get all the way there. There it is, Scout. Uncanny Sight. 0.1% party speed for every skill point over 200. Well, that means you get a massive party speed bonus if we can get her scouting anywhere close to 275 to 300. That's going to be very beneficial for us moving around the battlefield, moving around the campaign map beforehand. Now, she's got these perk points. I'm just going to assign one to riding here, and you see her glaive sticking out of her shoulder backpack there. We'll give her a point towards glaive. We're going to slowly start leveling up her glaive skill. All right, let's see. Lid Ironbelly. These guys are one of our combat leaders, right? These guys' sole job is to lead a sizable army division in battle, right? We're going to give this guy lots of perks that benefit him and the troops he's leading. This guy will virtually never be leading a party. If he's leading a party, it's an unusual circumstance, right? We're going to focus on his two-handed, his one-handed, his throwing, and his athletics. Maybe his polearm, but primarily those first four. I will start putting points into him on two-handed eventually, but let's max out his one-handed first for higher survivability and more kills. The more kills he gets, the more levels he gets, etc. Wahan the Golden is a bit of a unique character. This guy right now, if you look at his character spec, you would say he's a warrior, right? He's a horse rider with a spear and pretty capable with a one-handed weapon, but I want him to have eventually some group skills, right? So we're going to try to we're trying to level up his leadership, his medicine, and his steward skills, right? Eventually, too, his tactics will benefit him once he's more commonly a party leader. I mean, he's a party leader right now, but he's kind of a weak party leader. We're going to use his combat skills to level up his non-combat skills, right? His steward, medicine, leadership. Maybe we'll throw a point or two onto engineering. Level 21, I'm hoping Wahan the Golden reaches, level 30, 35 by the end of this campaign. Arwa, of course, I've already introduced her. She's going to frequently be our governor and the producer of our heirs, right? She's basically a badass warrior and obviously creating future warriors for our army. Now, Idenor the Healer, she's also going to be potentially a companion running around with an army. I think you get 3 or 4 armies, depending on your perks, once you get to that stage. It's nice to have competent leaders. So obviously she needs points in Steward, she needs points in Medicine, but just like Wahan the Golden, what we're going to do is we're going to use her combat skills, right? She's running around with a bow, she's got good athleticism, we can put her on a horse too, and those combat skills will help her become a better leader when we create our third party. Right now, of course, she's just going to be part of the army most of the time, and her medicine skills are wasted, right? Until she starts getting higher medicine skills, we will simply leave her with the army so that she can gain levels through combat. All right, what else can we talk about here? So campaign structure wise, right, we've got our main army here, and anytime we get overflow, we're going to make additional armies, right? We're going to essentially keep on building our army, because by the time that we get to the vassal stage, we're already in the vassal stage, when we're trying to form our own kingdom, we want to have an army of 500 plus, right? It'll be Wazu and hopefully 3 other stuffed to the gills companions. And obviously, we will try to stack our garrisons, even if that means we're losing money. Now, it's not going to happen soon. Like I've said before, it's not actually going to happen in Wazu's lifetime. Wazu will never see, he will never see a new kingdom, right? He's a bitch. He acquiesces, and more appropriately, or more accurately, he's getting drunk. He's having fun with his harem, and he has no further ambition. His sons and daughters are going to be the ones that propel this kingdom to new glory. All right, so I think we will wrap this episode up. I appreciate you, fellas. I know this was an elongated episode here. Please hit that like button, and I will see you guys next time.